Irv, thank you very much. I remember the last game I played when George Allen was the coach of the Redskins and Coryell. We used to have some pretty good contests here against the Redskins. It was always a pleasure to come back here and beat them. I played for the Cardinals, and then I went to the Saints without ever going to church, and then I became a Buffalo Bill. I played 10 years in the NFL, and let me give you a quick story. We played in St. Louis probably on the worst field in the entire NFL, the stadium at Busch Stadium. We have an offensive line that some would classify as one of the greatest offensive lines in the NFL. Now, of course, Joe DeLamler might debate that. They led in rushing, but we actually set a record with the least amount of sacks, with only allowing 7. On that offensive line was Dan Deerdorf. He's had his hips replaced twice, and has had 1 total knee. I've had 9 total knees. I need my shoulder replaced. Tom Banks, the other center, he's had 2 hips and 1 knee, and we just got him into rehab down in Florida because of his addiction to drugs, painkillers. I take back trim every day for the rest of my life because I have a severe case of MRSA from the knee surgeries. So I have to be on that the rest of my life, and I take Vicodin all day long. Bob Young, the other guard, he has died. Now, that's one offensive line that we played together for 6 years, and between us, we don't have enough body parts to make a whole person. Now, some people might say that's a coincidence, but I don't think that's a coincidence. There's one thing that we all had in common. We played on AstroTurf. And, you know, the owners, they put the AstroTurf into the stadiums for 3 reasons. It was cheaper, no maintenance. It was better for the equipment, no damage or wear and tear on the equipment. And also, it was better for television, for the viewing audience. Not one of those ideas of putting AstroTurf in there ever dealt with the safety of the players. And that's too bad. They certainly should have dealt with that a little bit. And that's just one offensive line that played together for 6 years, and there's not one of us that can walk to this day. Dan Deerdorf, a Hall of Famer. Of course, he had the opportunity to play next to me. But he's a Hall of Famer, and that was true. He was just an okay guy from Michigan at one time. I've been fortunate. I almost lost my leg last year because they can't replace it. They said, well, you're probably going to lose it anyway, so why don't we take it right now? I said, hey, hold up a second. Let's take another chance with this. Let's do another knee surgery. So they've cut my calf muscle in half and had to fold it over the knee because they didn't have any meat left on it. I have a stent, a tube in my leg now that goes all the way down to my ankle because they have to keep going deeper with it because they keep breaking. So consequently, it's been a long haul. My wife is in a wheelchair, and you talk about benefits. My health insurance was costing us $4,000 a month. Well, I can't afford that, so I fly without my wife's on Medicare now. For instance, when I filed for disability, let me give you a little example of how the system works. When I filed for disability, when I got out, you had to file before 10 years. I filed in my 8th year. Doctor said I was disabled. They tabled it. They came back and said, we want you to see another physician. A year went by. It's 9 years now. I saw another physician. He said I was disabled. Well, in between that, they tabled it again. In between that, I had to have surgery. Then they said, we want you to see our own physician in New York. I went to see him. He said, well, you've had your knee replaced. It doesn't look like you're that disabled now, but he says you're a little bit disabled and stuff like that. I went back to get it approved. They said, you're past the 10-year period. You're at 10 years, 6 months. It's too late. You didn't file in time. So I was 86th out. In fact, I really wish these players were here because I wanted to tell them. I had Jerry Spence. I don't know if a lot of you know who Jerry Spence is, probably one of the top trial lawyers in the world, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. He got me soon after I retired. I asked him to help me with the union and stuff. And he said, okay. He said, let me show you something. He got on the phone. We spent 45 minutes on the phone with him. This guy charges like a couple $1,000s an hour. 5 or 6 different holes, never talked to anyone. He hung the phone up and said, this is exactly the help you're going to get from your union once you're retired. And that's what we have as a problem as retired players. The union cannot represent 2 masters. They cannot represent the current players, and they cannot represent the retired players and make it even. Someone's got to lose. And it's usually the retired players because we have no benefit to them. So as a group, we need to let the public know, we need to let the owners know, we let the union know, we need some way to get our representation and our ability to speak for ourselves. And it's important that you all understand that I own a business. I got to take care of my employees. I can't throw them under the bus. It's about time they step up. It's time that the public stops paying through Medicare and through the social benefits to the retired players that can't afford it. The owners got to pick up the tab. Thank you.